Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up the screen here. Ilus, mighty Ilus. Ilus just keeps winning, and the stock is just stuck. So let's talk about what's going on with Ilus. And here it says Ilus International. They've signed a letter of intent for the acquisition of a profitable, that's important, profitable Florida-based fire suppression system company, which that fits right into their groove. Of course, they've already completed the acquisition of 7 companies since January of 2021, which during the Rona is very impressive. It says they've now agreed in principle to move forward with the acquisition of an impressive fire suppression system company in the U.S. state of Florida. The company currently generates revenue in the region of $3 million a year, and I'm sure they'll pick that up and drive that forward. Probably try to get it up to 5, 6, heck, maybe even 9 million. They have a tendency to try to do that. And that's really their primary goal, is to acquire these companies and then drive their revenue much higher. It says it holds enormous growth potential, there you go, and is extremely well aligned for the launch of Ilus' own fire suppression technology in the U.S., and you know they're going to be using the water mist on that. It says while they've been making huge progress on the acquisition front, we felt it important to announce this intended acquisition primarily because it marks our significant move into the U.S. fire suppression system market. And of course, here we go. The development of our own water mist fire suppression systems for kitchen fires, EV battery fires, and much more is going well. So it's important that we have the right channel, local technical expertise, and existing customer base in the U.S. when we kick things off there. It says for us, there's no better way to do this than with a profitable acquisition that has big name customers on its books and is already rapidly growing and is primed for serious expansion, said Ilus CEO Nick Link. And realize Ilus is really trying to be vertically integrated. In other words, they've got a lot of the products themselves. And if you think about, of course, the water mist technology, which they can use in so many products, but on top of that, you've also got many other products that they can sell, whether it's the Mongoose. Now, they wouldn't sell that through this, but they would through their Georgia Fire and Safety supplies and all of that. So they're really trying to get vertically integrated, because if you are making the product yourself, many of the products, and then you become the middleman on top of that, and in some respects, the end user, now you're really vertically integrated. And I can see where they're going with this. It's pretty obvious with their growth plans. And I think it seems to be working. I think it's going to work. It says they're moving into the final phase of due diligence for the acquisition. It says the company they're taking over would have significant new contracts with major brands in Florida, and with the involvement of Ilus, the company is now very well positioned for further expansion. And of course, here it talks about Ilus planning to roll out its own water mist fire suppression technology through this company. And here JP Backwell talks about, he says, I believe the company can grow exponentially more. And it talks about when completed, the intended acquisition will play a key role in speeding up further fire suppression product development at Ilus-owned Firebug Technologies. And let's look at that. And here I'm going to show you, if you haven't seen the mist technology and how well it works, you're going to see this in this video very clearly. And there you can see how little bit of water that takes to put out what is a car that's raging. And it saves water, it does less damage. Of course, you can think about a home fire being put out with a lot less water. Many times when you put out a fire in a house, more damage is done by the water itself than the actual fire, depending on when they get to it. And you can imagine how useful that'd be in a fixed system situation like in a kitchen. And like I said, I've run some companies that had to have that, a restaurant or two, that you had to have those fixed fire systems to put out a fire, especially a grease fire. And mist technology would be very useful, because the last thing you want is, if you do have a fire, you don't want hundreds of gallons of water on top of it in your kitchen ruining everything. So you just want the fire put out as quickly as possible, and mist technology will help do that. Also, you can see here the Mongoose, and I think this is a pretty cool Mist Technology product. You basically punch a hole through a wall, and then you can put out a fire inside a house or a room and not have the firefighter in danger because he's on the other side where the heat is and where the fire is, and yet you're putting out the fire with the Mongoose. So I think that's a really unique product, and again, they're using the Mist Technology with that. So once again, vertically integrated. So we continue to get really good news from Ilus. They continue to build and build and build, and this is a profitable company. Remember, this is a penny stock that's profitable, which is a very rare bird, especially today. But the stock is just kind of stuck at 14 cents. It's been there for just weeks and weeks and weeks. And let's talk about what's causing that. Look, the market sentiment and penny stocks in general on the outs. That's just kind of the way it is right now. It won't be that way forever. Look, that happens in different sectors. You know, that happens with crypto, it happens with penny stocks, it happens with value stocks even. I mean, we've watched two FANG stocks drop to 50% off, which is Netflix and Facebook. And I didn't ever think I'd see Facebook drop 50%. So you've got a lot of weird stuff going on right now. And even though Ilus is winning, I know as shareholders, and probably Ilus feels a little bit this way right now. That's right. They're clearly winning, but it's a little bit empty right now, but it won't be long term, I don't believe. But again, you know, I'm watching this stock closely and realize if this was a year or 15 months ago, this stock would be way past, it'd be up here around $1, $1.50, because you had all kinds of momentum traders going on in the penny stock land. And there is no momentum in penny stocks right now. Momentum is dead. But like I said, over time, it'll come back. But what you've got is a bunch of bottom feeders like myself who are waiting for this thing to come down to support at 12 cents, which I will be buying quite a bit of it. And of course, I do practice my 10% rule. I put 10% of my portfolio in penny stocks and 10% in crypto and crypto related, and I don't exceed that. So I'm always careful with them. But this is one that I really like, but I want to buy it at my price. And I've already got quite a few shares, so that's why I'm not in a hurry. And then you've got some of the other people on YouTube that are watching this stock. They're kind of wanting to get it at 10 cents, but I don't think it'll come down to that. But if it does at 12, I'll be all over it like a duck on a June bug. And over time, as the momentum starts swinging back towards the more high-risk stocks, especially penny stocks and crypto and all that, you'll start seeing this thing work up, in my opinion. And, you know, it's just a matter of being patient, because I really like the fundamentals of this company, which is rare to say with a penny stock. You don't normally talk about fundamentals, you talk about the future. Well, in this case, we're talking about both, because again, a profitable company that also has good fundamentals and has a great future. And quickly, I'll go over a few things that we're waiting on or that's happening with Ilus. And I could make a list that goes page after page after page of all the positive things with Ilus, but I'm just got it down to just kind of a summary. And we know about the European deal, that large facility there. They've already got phase 1 rocking and rolling, and they're heading towards phase 2, and that's going to be a huge contract in Serbia. The share reduction, they're still trying to get close to 1 billion shares, and they're talking about share, not buybacks, but to put people's common shares into a preferred category and getting them out of common, and actually and then working out some sort of compensation for that to try to get the shares down. And that would also help them with uplist. But realize, I think the uplist they're mainly talking about will be spin-outs and with no reverse split. So we'll kind of have to watch and see. I covered that pretty heavily in the last video, but he couldn't speak a lot about it because it is a publicly traded company and they're in a bit of a quiet period when it comes to that sort of discussion. We know about all the acquisitions they're working on, and this is just one of many. They are working on a huge one in the U.S., not the one we just covered, though. And of course, we know they are using preferred and restricted shares if needed to be used in acquisitions. And he did talk about that quite a bit extensively in that last video and in his Q&A. And I've covered Water Mist Technology, which I think is going to be fantastic for this company long term as they vertically integrate. We know about their discussions with Tesla, the Veer drones, and like I said, I could just go on and on. And there are people in their Discord that will go even more in depth than this. If you want to get crazy in depth, there are folks in there that will just get as deep as you want, I can promise you. All right, folks, and that's Ilus today. And Ilus keeps winning, but the stock is kind of stuck, and it's a little bit of a hollow victory right now, but that's okay. You know, you got to think long-term in investing. You know, unless you're a day trader, this I think is a real nice stock to be holding. But, you know, that's my opinion. It's my money. That's what I'm doing. It's your money. You do as you please. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover Ilus. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor. And I like that picture of Ogre.